The stream is live.
All right, we are actually live, and this is a special edition. I wanted to do something just a little bit different than what Brad and I had been doing, and kind of look at legal lifestyle versus other lifestyles, and kind of mold some things together. And I found two interesting, very interesting guests for tonight. Hence the title, and you're going to meet him here in just a second. Behind the badge, women police officers. So, without further ado, I will introduce you now to Rocking Robin and her great friend, Miss Wendy. Welcome to Mark After Dark.
Hey, everybody.
Darkness. All right, ladies. I am going to let y'all tell your story or set the mood for us for tonight. That's what I love to do when I have special guests. I want to see what's on your mind and what you would like to reveal about what we mean by behind the badge women police officers. I mean, y'all kind of look too nice to be hot, man. Like you wouldn't like cup and stuff them, but I bet you've had to do it before and all that, right? So y'all
actually, I'm going to break in just so that people that don't know me. Last week I was in Texas where I live with Mark, and we were at the Hideaway 2, excuse me.
No, and we have the right Hideout 2.
Thank you. We did a podcast, my first one live together with Drew Moreland, and that was awesome. And so I'm on vacation in my hometown right now, and Wendy and I met about 25 years ago at work. I only had a couple years on as a police officer, and Wendy came rolling in from Philadelphia, hot and ready to go, and introduced herself to me in the locker room. Like literally, I'm getting dressed, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Wendy." And so laying the foundation, we've been friends for about 25 years now. So since I'm just here for another day on vacation, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to talk about what Mark was saying. Since I've been gone from the department for about 12 years, retired, and Wendy she's extremely humble. So I'm going to toot your horn. She's San Diego Police Department's most senior female patrol officer still in the streets, right?
Correct. You got it.
Thank you for your service, both of you.
Thank you. We appreciate the support.
So I did 14 years. Wendy's still rolling at 25 years. Go ahead, Mark.
No, that's a huge thing. And thank you for your service.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
That's like 40 years of combined police service, pretty much. So what do you think, Mark? What do you want to know?
I want to know what challenges that you guys faced as, not just police officers, but, throwing the fact, and let's be real, women do not have it easy in the police force at all. And not in the music industry either. The industry I'm in, those girls really have to fight to get their way and move their way up the ranks. And I would think in both, but I don't know your side that much. Could you educate me a little bit about what that's like?
What do you think? I came on at 30. How old were you?
So I was 26 when I came on. Robin came on, I think, 1998?
98.
I came on in 99. I speak to the new academies, and I always tell them I was a cop in the 90s, so don't mess with me. Things have changed. I think we've come a long way. When we became cops, it was very much a male-dominated industry, and it was the boys' club. It was the, you're never gonna cut it out here. You're a woman. It's harder for you. You're not as strong. You're not as big. You're not as powerful. So we came on during that time, and even my dad, who was a hardcore Marine vet and former police officer, Wendy, it's going to be tougher for you.
And my dad wanted me to not be a cop and be a fireman because he was a cop's son.
Okay, so there you go. But we definitely came on, and it was more challenging. But I think when we heard that and we were advised, hey, it's going to be a little harder for you, I think we did work harder to earn our keep, to gain our credibility, to get respect in this job. We knew that coming on. We knew it was a little bit harder. So I think we did what we had to get past that. A lot of us cops that came on 25 years ago, we sort of come from a different cut, I think, from the kids that come on now. I think that's across society lines, but
There was no social media, no cell phones, no
very
body
different.
cams. Like
Right.
you were all accountable to each other as human beings,
Yeah.
as opposed to being under the watchful eye of a camera.
But I do have to say, once we got our cred, it was a little harder, a little longer process. Once we got our credibility, it was solid. I've never been questioned in 25 years. I had a great career. I get treated probably better than some of the guys because
The command staff looks at her for guidance. Sometimes they're like, we're not in the streets. Let's go ask Wendy because it'll be credible info.
absolutely. But I tell the females now that come on, you know what? It's going to be a little harder for you, whether that's right or wrong. You got to know that. People say, well, that's BS. It's not fair. We should have the same. You know what? We don't. It's different. There's lots of things that make us different. Sex, gender. We celebrate those things. Recognize that they're there. We're not all the same. We're not going to be treated the same. Expect that. Understand that and embrace it. So I teach them. Things might be a little different. Might be a little easier for you. Might be a little harder for you, but embrace it. So. It's out there, but I think if we're educated about that, we work around it.
So she acts as a really good mentor because when I came on, I chose really good mentors to look up to who would pull me aside and be like, hey, do this or don't do that. And then Wendy came on, and just like any job, you like people you work with and you don't like some people interpersonally.
Sure.
Right away, we just connected. And even though she was a little younger in age by a few years, and obviously just like a year younger than me in tenure, she had a style about her, like a Philadelphia, Philly style and edge. And I was a stay-at-home mom from a small East County of San Diego. So Wendy just came out hot. And I looked at her and I'm like, damn, I need to learn something from this girl. And she had a way of just talking her way out of anything. She could get a 6'5", person that's not white to turn around and put his hands behind his back and put his own cuffs on. And I'm like, this girl, she found what worked for her. She came solid and confident in who she was. And people wanted to do what Wendy said because she was likable and you were funny. Like,
I'm still funny. Pretty funny.
Yeah. And so we learned we had a little group of maybe 5 or 6 of us women, and we would start the shift getting dressed, being Robin and Wendy. And then we'd put our little costume on and be officer A and B, do our 10 hours, come back, strip everything off, take the vest off and then be ourselves again. So we found a balance. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that because that's a good point right there. And I want you to talk about that. That a lot of people have this fear, that our media is put out there about police officers right now. And not all police officers are bad. Not all military is bad. Not all government's bad. Not all politicians are bad, right? Not all people are bad. Not even some people that may appear bad are bad, Y'all have learned that. You've seen it real and experienced it firsthand. Talk a little bit more about that, like the challenges of that part of it.
So I think we made it all the way through the 2000s and 2010s, and things were great. We've seen lots of ebbs and flows and ups and downs in this career. We love the cops. We hate the cops. It's like that with a lot of different professions.
And I left right before body cams.
Okay. So the most recent wave I think started in 2020 with George Floyd, and then we had COVID immediately following, and so. We were in the media, we were in the eye, and I think
were they looking for your mistakes more than
y'all were in ground zero, man? I mean, do you know what I mean? You really were. I'm glad you said that. You're in the eye.
Absolutely. And so we felt that and we recognized that, and we are like human beings. We're a cross section of human society, and so we have good, bad, and everything in between. And for us that are out there doing the right thing for years and years and years, we had no problem with the accountability and the weeding out the guys that are doing the bad thing. We had no problem allowing the people that were out there making mistakes or doing malicious wrong to be called out for it. 99% of us are doing the right thing.
So the police themselves, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, but we're a cross section of society. When I speak to the new academies, I tell them, if you come onto this job and you're looking to get yourself into trouble, you're looking to go out and pick up, you know, what do you call them, like a new word for, you know, maybe like a streetwalker. If you're out there trying to, you know, do things that are unscrupulous, we're going to catch you, and we're not going to support you. We're going to make sure that you get held accountable. But if you come in with good intentions, we're going to make sure that you do the right thing,
And
because
if you
we want
make
you
a
to have a
human
good
error, we're
career.
going to help you fix
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
We're going to make sure you don't repeat it, right?
Right, right,
And
absolutely.
We'll get you the right mentor so you get back on the right track.
Absolutely.
And there's
So I
there's
think,
a lot of that. There's
yeah,
a lot
those,
that really does go on, but they don't talk about it. They don't.
right.
All they focus on is the drama. They don't show what really is going on. It's all just BS, man. I mean, like, you really got to dig to find the truth these days. And,
Well, I got to tell you, Mark, from experience,
Sure.
there's the public thing of the thin blue line. Like if we see something, like say two cops go to a liquor store on a burglary alarm, and one cop looks over and see the other one grab a soda or a gum and stick it in his pocket. There's like this, before I became a cop, he's going to let it slide. They're not going to tell on each other. I have never seen, first of all, I've never seen that in person, but I've never been around cops who just look away. Like, even if they pull each other's side and be like, dude, don't ever do that again. Have you ever seen somebody just blatantly look away when they've seen another officer do misconduct like that?
Not in a really long time. I
Yeah.
think that the people that are out here, Mark, they're people that we recognize that this stuff is out there. We don't let it overtake us, because we still have to do our job. And I respect when things are bad out there in the media. I get it. My job is not to field questions and defend my profession all day. We recognize that that's an ebb and flow. And so I tell people, you know what? Come do a ride along with me. Come spend 10 hours in my police car.
You do a lot of
Dealing with
ride-alongs.
what I do get tasked with taking a lot of people, because people have this conception of, you know, the story that they saw on CNN. What we do is very, very different. It's not George Floyd every day. It's not that every day. It's not, you know, these high profile cases. These are very few and far between. And we're not perfect. We're not great. We're not superheroes. I'm just like you. I just wear a different costume, like Robin called it, right? Costume. We're just, you know, we're out there doing our job, but a lot of us do recognize that we're scrutinized, cameras, people, and you know what? That's fine. I think for the majority of us, bring it on. You know, we are here to protect and serve. I pay your taxes. You absolutely do.
You know,
So
I've
you have
seen,
a right to see.
I'm
what
going to
we
interrupt
do.
you real quick. Mark, I want Wendy to share this story because, like I said, she's really humble, and it's taken me a lot to get her to sit here with me, because
Only because I have to get up at 5 a.m, Mark. Otherwise,
but she's not one to sit here and tell her
I'm right
stories.
there with you. Yes, ma'am. Me too.
Well, she's not one to sit here and tell a bunch of stories about how awesome she is, but she was selected along with another officer who about the same tenure. His name is Jonathan Weiss. And Jonathan did something pretty amazing. The two of them are the ones that go and talk to the academy about what she's talking about. And when you see our job and you see people at the very worst day of their entire life, and lots of times it's the very first time they've ever dealt with the police. And to us, it's just another call. So, oh, we're going to a call. You have to really stop if I think you're a really good officer and go, wait a minute, it's their first time, and take a second and think about where they're coming from interacting with you. And like, I've seen some pretty amazing things happen on the job. Cameras are never there, right? And I go home and I think, man, I worked, I don't need more, but work with some really badass quality people who literally put their life on the line for complete strangers day after day after day. And I mean, like what Jonathan did. Do you mind just real quick?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we do work. We work with a lot of badasses, but you know what? My sister's a second grade teacher, and she's a badass.
Yeah.
Friends of mine that are doctors, nurses. You know what? We're human beings. We're badasses. We're all out there filling our little niche. We're all out there doing our thing. We're no different or better.
We just
or
wear a
worse
different
than
costume
anybody.
and have a different.
And I think we
like
recognize
that analogy, a different costume. I really like that, because when you go and perform, or you go do a podcast, or you do a live broadcast, or a radio thing, or whatever, right? Anytime you're doing that type of a deal, you're putting a costume on. You're
for sure.
You're entertaining. Firefighters put a costume on, right? Dollar General
Absolutely.
employees. I mean, that's a great point to bring up, and I think that's where we're all lacking. Everything is so chaotic these days. Everybody's so ugly to each other, and they're not realizing, like you said, at the end of the day, we all have jobs to do, and then
You know,
we're
it's hard, Mark,
good
when you show up.
people.
Well, you show up
Right.
and like, let's say a radio call, they call it 415, which is penal code for disturbance. So it'll be like a unit designator, 831 King, which means a 2-man unit at nighttime. Respond to a 415 at a parking structure at San Diego State, 2 subjects fighting over a parking spot. So we look at each other and we're like, okay. We show up and they're acting like someone just shot someone in the face and they're mad because we're looking at each other and we're like, but we got to get out of the car because you're a professional and you got to help solve their problem that they can't solve by themselves, right? And to them it's important, and we got to make sure it doesn't escalate to violence, obviously. But I got to tell you, the reason I call it costume is not to be disrespectful, but I was trained by really good training officers and I took my job seriously. And they told me, get there early, load your car on your own time, which I did, take a shower, and then put your costume on, which it was a mental transformation for me. I went from Robin, me right now, and then I would go through this transformation to turn into the professional that I was when my boots hit line up and went to the streets. And then when I was done, I'd go back to the station, I'd change out, I'd take a shower, and I would go home and be me. So when I retired, I had that mental ability to relatively be normal. Am I the same person?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think that we've changed though. Even since Robin left, we've actually learned how to embrace personalities more in this job. And me, I'm the same. I'm the same at work. I'm funnier off duty, but I'm pretty funny on duty. But I also maybe drive a little faster on duty, maybe off.
Have you ever been pulled over off duty?
That's a whole different.
No, that's a great question, Rockin' Robin. Yeah,
Go ahead,
I don't know the answer. I asked the question.
I actually did. I have fast cars. I've always had, Mustangs, and
she's a Ford girl.
But the funniest thing is, I was not even pulled over in a Mustang. I haven't been pulled over in about 14 years, and I had a Jeep Wrangler that I had to lemon law, so now I have a Bronco. But I have not been pulled over in my Mustangs. I actually got pulled over in the hunk of crap Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, wow.
And
that sucks. Were you speeding?
Yeah.
Dang it, officer.
The CHP officer that pulled me over. I know.
We're going to put you on double secret probation.
No, I know. The CHP officer that pulled me over actually knew me, and I knew him. And so it was like, okay, but it just, hey, if he wanted to write me a ticket, I would have signed the ticket. I'm no different, but he didn't write me a ticket. I exercise the same discretion when I pull people over and they go, you know what, officer, I was hauling ass. I'm like, okay.
Honesty can get you.
Dude, Mark, one time when I was the new cop.
But there were times, in personal experience, let me tell you, there was times that it worked, and there was times that I should have kept my fucking mouth shut.
Sure.
There was one time when I was a new cop, and this guy was going way fast, and I pulled him over, and as soon as I came up on him, grown man, 4 times my size, shaking like a little boy. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? I gotta go poo. I gotta go poo. He pulled into the Burger King because he had to. He's like, can I curse, Mark?
Too late for that.
Mark?
Yes, ma'am.
He basically told me he was speeding because he was going to crap his pants.
Okay.
And you know what?
Yeah, I heard it. I was trying to pull something up to show you guys something really cool.
So I have a decision to make. Do I believe him? Or do I
watch this grown man shit his
pants? Like nobody knows.
Smell that though. Who wants to smell that? I would have probably. That's why I never became a cop and didn't go in the military, right? I'd probably been the dumbass that have been like, "Oh man, yeah, go ahead, dude." Because I ain't smelling that shit, man.
You know what I did?
I don't believe you.
You know what I did? I got him out of the car. He said, I said, would you want to get out of the car? And I can pat you down, voluntary pat down for my safety. So I know you're not running to dump a weapon or narcotics. Yes, ma'am. You can do whatever you want. He gets out. I pat him down. You're good to go. He ran in. He did his business. He came back and he said, "I'm ready for my ticket, ma'am."
Did you let him use your pen? Okay.
No, and you know what? I didn't even write him a ticket. I wrote him a written warning, and I said, "Thank you for your honesty." And I mean, this was probably 20 years ago, and I still remember it because that's the choice and the discretion you have in the job. And I mean, we've all done a power run to try and get to the bathroom before we, mess ourselves. But I love that part of the job where obviously there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I was fully aware every day I went to work that all my decisions obviously, are based on letter of the law, but sometimes spirit of the law. Discretion, exactly. And I came in a little bit older, and my maturity was not of a 21-year-old who just got out of college. I was a 30-year-old stay-at-home mom when I became a cop, and no military, no police experience, but I had desire to learn, and I cared about people. And what was your background?
What else do you think people want to know, Mark? I want to put it back at you. Like, what do we hear it, but I'm in California, you're in Texas. I don't know. Well, I mean, what do you think? You're not a cop. What do you want to know?
I've had enough experience with cops, and I've gotten in trouble, so I'm no angel. I never
Did they look like us? What did your cop look like, Mark?
Hell no, I had guys. I got robbed, man. I wish my two DWIs.
We both got long red hair, Mark.
I can't even tell a good story. I mean, it's like, I can't, man. The first time I fell asleep in the Jack in the Box drive-thru, y'all.
Oh shit!
I was coming back from New Braunfels, and I just gotten off of like a 3-week straight no break tour on the road playing, and I made the mistake of going downtown to meet some chick. And
that's how every story starts.
No, listen, y'all have heard it all. I know. And, no, it's just funny because this is real. I mean, this is real. And I knew I shouldn't have gone to the fucking Black Whale pub. I knew I shouldn't have gone to the Black Whale pub. I knew it. I should have gone home when I said, time to go.
This is how every good story starts. So I went downtown to meet a chick.
And then, woo.
So what happened, Mark?
I should have queued up the Bad Boys theme song for that part right there. That would have been boom, kick it right there.
I would have loved it.
I missed that opportunity.
What else do you want to ask us? Like, what do you wonder? Like,
a lot of times I wonder. I mean, you answered one of them. The biggest one is, do you give chances? Because some cops do, some cops don't. Some are by the book strict.
That's a good question, Mark.
So
lot of factors there. What kind of cop stopped you? Is it a beat cop like me, or is it a motor cop who goes through 20 tickets a day? Is it California Highway Patrol, or is it me working, in the hood, where I have shootings and stabbings and gang problems? Do I have time to write a ticket? Is it the age of the cop? Is it a young cop who's in training? Is it a cop like me that has 4 years left on the department? I don't even have a ticket book. My job is not to write tickets. My job is to handle high risk criminal areas. So
and she works in the city of San Diego. She works in one of the highest activity divisions out of all 9 divisions. She's in the number one,
the busiest division.
The busiest one, yeah.
But I love it. But I think what you said, Mark, do officers give chances? And you've had good, bad, and different maybe experiences. We're human. We're human. And Robin's story of the guy that had to use the bathroom. If somebody's genuine to me and said, you know what, officer, I may have been speeding. My bad. We learned in the academy, you either give a ticket or you give a lecture or a lesson. For me, a lesson is so much more important to say, you know what, Mark, you were driving a little fast. Hey man, we just had a fatality on this road last week. I don't want that to be you, bro. Slow down, my man. Instead of F that cop, she gave me a ticket. Now I got to miss a day of court. Now I got to, take a day off and, pay this fine. You had an amazing experience where the officer said, just slow down because I don't want you to end up dead.
It works.
And you're going to tell your friends, man, I met this cop. She was awesome. Next time they see me on the street fighting a 300-pound parolee, hey, man, that's that cop that hooked our buddy up and gave him a warning. So,
and this girl throws down like
the point is, it's a bigger picture for us. And if a quota is not my job to have
And it's not. The department does not.
if
make
I'm
us
not
do
a motor
quotas.
cop having to write tickets, my job is more to educate you and create that symbiosis that we. It just that's what. Sometimes you might be going to jail. Sorry. So you know what, sir? I feel you, but I got to arrest you. Okay.
Reminds me of old Fluffy Gabriel Iglesias. I'm going to jail.
Sure.
No, bro, no, man. I should pull that clip up. That's freaking hilarious. It's
Do you
just
have it?
perfect time out somewhere, I'm sure. But no, for real, that's what I'm talking about. Though, at the end of the day, everybody is a person, a human being. Everybody has feelings. We go through good things. We go through bad things. But we can have an impact to help each other and nurture each other and help each other grow.
And even like on any profession, you're not, I mean, let's be honest. I don't care where you work. You're not always going to want to bring your coworkers home and hang out with them in your personal life. I don't care whether you work fast food, retail, EMS, your job, art, but you got to work together and you got to have each other's back in a healthy work environment, in my opinion. And generally, as a whole, on the police department, I learned pretty early on who my people were. And I may not like, Joe going to need a cover unit, but I'm going to go cover Joe and I'm going to put my life out there because hopefully Joe will do the same for me.
I'm not. Joe's an asshole. I know that guy.
He's like, I'm cupping him and stuffing him. That's it.
I'm out. You're on your own, Joe.
So this girl right here, Wendy, and she's very humble, so I'm going to brag on her for a second. We obviously, when we work a division, one of the 9 divisions as a patrol cop, we have to listen to our radio in our division. We have to know what's going on in our little area where we work, our beat. This girl has an ability with her brain. There's a lot going on in there. She scans, which means she listens citywide. This girl knows who's stopping a car down at the border, who's doing something 40 miles north of her. She knows what all of her people are doing. Like, she literally is like a dispatcher with her ear and her mind. And if somebody needs help 45 minutes north and she's not doing nothing, but she knows nobody is close to that person 45 minutes away, she's going. Wendy's not going to leave another cop hanging out there to dry.
I don't have to pay for gas. So.
Well, I do like the comedy spin on it. Definitely, Wendy. That's a great thing because it does show. I mean, anybody that's watching or sees this now, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or sees the replay of it or catches the podcast, just the audio and they're driving around. They'll be able to know that they can hear the authenticity in what you're saying. And
you're not around her for very long and you're laughing so hard you're going to pee yourself because she sees things that we don't. And you make everything funny.
I appreciate that.
Wendy
and
makes
I appreciate
work fun.
that. Thank you, Mark. We got to come to work 40 hours a week and you might as well have a good time. And it's a way.
40. What are you talking about? 40? I work like 80 hours a week.
I know, but every minute I work overtime is money for me. We don't work for free. I work for the government, Mark. So, but you got to love what you do. And I think it's just so much easier to connect with people with humor. And we're at the end of the day, we're all the same. And I think you said it earlier. People are just so crappy to each other and everything's chaotic. It doesn't need to be that way. Everyone's got so caught up in their own little BS and everybody's so much more important. Well, nobody is. Nobody cares.
We all
that you're doing this.
We all put our shoes on one at a time. We all put our pants on one leg at a time.
I hope that comes back to us. I hope our humanity and our
it does. Karma exists 100%. I've seen it unfolding here in my world with a bunch of things that have been going down.
Sure.
In my industry, and it's just be patient. Patience is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And just sit back and listen. And Wendy, you seem like you're a pretty good listener.
I definitely.
Or are you just really a good listener?
I only listen so I can use that shit against you later.
You do remember everything.
Ma'am, am I being detained?
I mean, if you're free to leave, sir, if you'd like to, if you're comfortable just leaving. No, people want to be heard. And they call the cops and it's like, I can't help you because of A, B, and C. just listen to them. Don't always automatically jump to solving. Well, there may not be a resolution. So they teach us when we're new, just let them vent to you what's happening, then offer them a solution if you can. Sometimes people just want to bitch. Sometimes I want to bitch. So allow them to be heard.
Wendy, bitch, please, bitch for us, Wendy.
Okay? People just want to be heard. And I think when we are cognizant of that, you're just going to get a better result. When people feel that they're heard, hey man, thank you for listening to me. I didn't do anything for you, but you listened to me and I appreciate that. Doesn't that go a huge way with all of us?
Well, like a lot of the quality, like a quality of life radio call, like a noise call. Somebody's radio is too loud next door, or they think it's a party and it's too loud and it's a party for an 8-year-old and it'll be done by 6 p.m., but they're annoyed at 2 p.m. So we show up.
Just water.
Yeah.
I only had 2 of them.
Iced tea. Iced tea.
I only had 2 waters off, I swear.
So we have to go as law enforcement officers, crime or no crime. Well, at this point, no, it's not a crime because it's not, but like Wendy's saying, if you're like, okay, why is it bothering you? Let me know it may be because they work nights and they have to sleep during the day.
Sure.
So to them at 2 p.m., it's affecting their quality of life, but we can't arrest somebody or whatever. We can politely go over and say, do you mind turning it down? But if you can, like you're saying, listen to them, validate their problem. It may not be a law enforcement issue, but they've called us to help. And then you make everybody happy. I've seen her take people to the Sally Port, which is where we take prisoners. And they're literally going, thank you, officer, waving to her, thanking them for being arrested. But that's how she treats people. She makes you feel like you're valued no matter what your malfunction
5
is.
stars would get arrested by her again.
Well, actually, what I was trying to pull up when Robin was telling her shit the pants story, I was trying to pull up. Yes, we're not FCC regulated, man. If you got a potty mouth, you can shout, let it all out.
Thank God.
I don't do all of my stuff is parental advisory in my life. It really is. It always has.
That's fair. We're adults. That's fair. I appreciate that.
At least I'm honest though about it.
What did you find to pull up?
Well, it's something that I've always used, and there's multiple reasons for it, but most importantly, police scanners or apps are a very valuable tool. I mean, you can really find out a lot of information, and you can actually, if you want to find out, you can hear like a lot of the cops are super, super nice, and you don't get to hear everything, of course, but you can hear how they talk to each other. They're trying to look out for one another and make sure everybody's safe and gets, and you hear that not everything is just BS and drama. There's people that are really like medical emergency and stuff, and they're having to go check up a burglary alarm, of course, things like that, But I listen to that scanner and I hear that, and I liked it. You get in that mood where you want to just investigate things or whatever. And I think that there's a little bit of that in everybody, but there must be a lot of that in you to be able to take on that role and do what you do. What's it like to do those investigations on the spot like that?
First of all, I love that you listen to a scanner, and I love that you notice that, and I love that you advocate for the police. We really appreciate people like you who are informed. So thank you for that.
Welcome. Thank you for your service.
Well, we appreciate that. I think most of us support what other people do. We're all just out here trying to find our way and do our thing. You want to answer that?
Yeah. Well, I just keep thinking about 2 weeks ago was when I came on your podcast, right? 2 weeks ago tonight. And I live in Texas. I volunteer at a hospital in the middle of the night. And I was logged on real quick. Oh, Mark's live. And I clicked on it. And you happen to be talking about police community relations. Okay, I kind of know about that. Yeah, I don't know this man I'm looking at right now. And you showed a video. And I'm going to shut up in a sec so you could tell the background of the video. And then I'll go. So tell them what video I saw.
I'm trying to remember now. You put me on the spot.
I know, right?
Mark,
right?
It was the chief and the man who came in the station to video it.
Still nothing.
Yeah. So the chief.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he was telling
Boing, boing,
the constitutional rights.
Squirrel.
Yeah, the constitutional rights that the guy had, his
Yeah.
First Amendment rights, and Fourth Amendment too. Am I right on that?
Fourth Amendment is search and seizure.
Is what?
Search and seizure protects against warrantless searches.
Okay. Well, I think it kind of got into that as the thing progressed. You know.
Yeah, when the chief was trying to kick him out, and he's like, "You can't search me," and he's like, "I can now because you're not leaving. Now you're committing a crime." So yes, you're right.
Now you're under arrest.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I saw those things happen, and there are some educated people, but you don't have to be a douchebag to the cop like a know-it-all about it. You can just
Yeah,
simply.
And in the video, that's what was happening. Like the man, I was watching your video, and I'm like, "Oh, this is interesting," because I do have
in the bear,
I
you
have,
know.
well, I have the police side of it, well, the chief's perspective from my job, and then I also have the citizen. I've been, not a cop for 12 years. So in the video, this man comes in to videotape the police station, which he has a right to do.
Sure.
But he's already got a 360 footage. He stayed way too long. The people that are in the building are uncomfortable and feel unsafe now because it's not normal behavior. And so the chief comes out to respectfully ask him to please leave. You got what you needed. And the man was not leaving. And then it became, you can't make me. And so I typed to Mark whatever my opinion was. I told him I used to retired officer. And we don't know what's going on in that building. We don't know if the chief has a high profile prisoner back there. We don't know if that man is a distraction.
Very good point you made too, Robin. We do not know what was going on inside.
We don't. And when he was asked politely, you got your footage. So he was allowed to do what he had a lawful right to do.
Sure, yeah.
But then he'd already made up his mind he was going to antagonize this chief. And so he didn't want to leave. And then it became very confrontational.
Yeah.
And both, were set on their opinion. And then that's when I kind of got a little sassy. And I'm like, you should have me co-host your show. And then
you're hired.
And then you called me out on it. I'm like, oh, shit. And then, we ended up talking the next day and we ended up, clicking with our personalities. And here I sit, 2 weeks later. But I'm really, really, I want to thank you from my heart for allowing us to do this because, Wendy's already up past her bedtime.
Not normal, but I'm usually up late, but I have to get, I have another conference.
I'm sorry, but if I didn't have that show before this, we could have done it a little bit earlier, but I had to pack out from all of that, and there was a lot of gear.
No problem.
Broadcast.
No, I appreciate it. I was out of town this whole last week at a conference, and I have to get up early for a conference tomorrow, and it's what happens. You get old. I'm fatigued. Look at me. I'm 27. So I mean, it's just I'm exhausted. But
I got to be up at 5, feed, aviary, do all that stuff, go to the vet clinic, go to work all day, and then come home and then do the music industry. So
well, I got to tell you from my heart to give me this opportunity. Thank you, Mark, because I sold this to you like, hey, this might be a golden opportunity selfishly for me because she's been my friend forever.
Yeah, and that's cool.
And I want to light her up for how wonderful she is to the world that's listening.
Thank you. No, also, excellent. I wanted to show
more
podcasts. You both
like we're people.
Awesome. Thank you.
We have roots that are deep. Like we're going to be sister blood friends.
We've been friends for a long time.
For the rest of our life because we've seen things at work that no human being should ever have to see. And we've lived past it. We're relatively sane and normal. We're good, and they can't see what she's doing. She's
I'm still sort of sane. I tell them I'm somewhat sane.
And when she comes to Texas, because I want to show her, our stomping grounds where I live now, and I want to show her the music scene because I was sitting at dinner tonight telling her like, okay, I came to Texas last July. I knew 2 people. Blah, 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 blah. I go to these concerts. I make these reels. Somebody says you should have a station. I'm like, what? Here, I've got a station. And I'm at the bottom of
just starting out.
I'm just starting. But I have you. I have
exciting.
Yeah, I have you to turn to as a good, strong mentor. I had good police mentors. I had a great career because I had good mentors. You've introduced me to a female mentor who's amazing. So I've got people watching out for me. God shaved years off of my learning curve by telling me being humble, mistakes that you made early on when you were me this early on, so that I don't start down the wrong path. and I appreciate you so much.
Aw,
I know.
that's sweet. Mark, how we doing on time?
We're good. We're about probably going to end it here in probably about 6-7 minutes.
Cool. Not that we're rushing you, and not. But I just want to make sure we stay in your window.
No, we're good. I mean, like I usually reserve between 30 minutes and an hour for these type of things.
Cool.
Yeah, because special edition type stuff and all that. We go as long as you ladies want to go, and then we're done.
I have a question for you. Wendy was asking me what your background was, and I, like everybody else, I click on your Facebook page and I see.
Just pull it up. I'll give you my social and all that.
Whatever. Cool. But you go down the list.
I don't want to tell my story. Just read it. It's all out there.
Mark, come on, man.
I looked at it a little bit. You're humble, but I'll take a look at it because I know you've probably been through it a million times. But no, that's
not
awesome.
that much. My little brother, yes, not me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I got help.
We all get help. Yeah.
So did I miss anything while I've been gone?
No, I mean, other than me working my butt off, no.
I do want to say,
vacation. You're supposed to be enjoying vacation.
She's enjoying vacation. Don't worry.
Good.
So Mark's brother is a veterinarian who's boarding my dogs for me. And, being relatively new to Texas, I found a boarding facility, but one of my older dogs is 8.5 and she's got cancer. And I didn't want to, she wasn't supposed to make it this long and I didn't want to cancel my trip. I came here for a Chris Stapleton concert. And my friend, where I used to live in Montana, she met me here. So my friend Danica and then me, so she came Montana, I came from Texas. We met up on Friday. We saw Stapleton at Petco Park on Saturday. Front row, I have great video. Front row right there, El King.
You look like you were at Green Hall all over again, just in San Diego. But it wasn't so Green Hall-ish. It was more San Diego-ish. But yeah, you look like
it was a sold out 40,000 crowd of Stapleton, and
crazy.
It was, and I was literally front row center because that's what I do. I just do it. And,
I've seen this, folks. She ain't lying. Yeah, in that moment, Wendy, I did not think she was a cop or could have ever been one. Just for about, I got to be honest, just for about maybe 3 minutes, I was like, "There's no way she's a cop."
No, Mark, she don't know. So I called Mark the next day.
She's, CIA. She ain't no fucking police officer.
Well, she's lucky she retired because I'm turning her ass in next time I see it.
Well, he saw my ass shake because Mark and I talk on the phone about me coming on the show as a guest host. And then I'm like, man, I got to hang up. I'm going to Junior Brown. Oh, well, I have an extra ticket. Do you want to go? So Mark's like, oh, when? And I'm like in an hour. So he's like, oh, sure. So I'm standing at the front row of Green Hall waiting for the show because it's what I do.
Sure.
And I don't drink. So I got my little 00. And I don't know what you look like other than what I see on TV. And I turn around and I'm like, hey, dude. He's like, hey. And then the show starts. So our first meeting was at a music venue.
That's awesome.
And I turned to him. I'm like, dude, so I dance. He's like, okay, I don't care. I danced. Mark watched. And then after the show, we went to Whataburger and we had a business meeting.
And you do know what I've done for a living, right? You know that it was in the entertainment business and all that.
I didn't know that when I met you at Green Hall. I didn't know that. I didn't look at your
that's
credit.
right. Yeah, you were deceived by the snake.
Yes, sir. I was. I know who you're talking about, sir.
Yeah. We're not mentioning names tonight. We're not going way beyond the music. We're Mark after dark.
Yeah, so there was somebody that
you're talking about a person when you said she was distracted by the
it's
snake.
somebody
what am I stepping into here?
No, she don't know. No,
no, come on, Wendy.
Get this. Above and beyond. I've been with her for 3 days. I haven't even told her the story because it's in my past. That person has nothing in my life no more.
I am I'm so glad you said that too. Because
she doesn't even know. She has no idea who we're talking about.
No,
she has no clue.
You know what? It was handled. It's been squashed, and it's been dealt with.
Yep. And you stepped up at Whataburger after watching me dance my sober ass off for 2.5 hours. Mark and I got to meet Junior Brown firsthand. He signed the back of my belt buckle. And then Mark got in his car. I got in mine. We went to Whataburger. We ate some chow at like midnight. And then we talked business. And he's like, I see something in you that I think is workable. You don't really know the industry, but I can help you. And you need to maybe listened to me and not the person who was, and he was right.
What a great opportunity for you. That's awesome.
Oh, huge. I thought I was retired. I thought, I'm good. I hang out with my dog.
You are retired. You're retired. You own a radio station.
I do. I own a radio station. I own Kindred Spirit Radio.
That's it. Yeah,
I am the owner.
That ASR, baby, coming at you. It could have been the Kindred Spirits, orale.
I know. Yeah, my little sound bites are awesome. My station identifiers. Yeah, I have an Australian lady. I have a Hispanic male.
Sancho. I call him Sancho. I created them, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you know what? A month ago, my life was just hanging out with my dogs in Texas, holding babies in the middle of the night at Children's Hospital, and living a happy life, going to music shows by myself. I've been sober almost 2.5 years. And then here we are a month later. I'm in San Diego talking to you. I own a radio station. You've been showing me how to program my music. And, there's something called a chart that, stations can report to. And I'm really excited to see where I can go with my station. I think it's going to work out really well.
Yep. And it's a good community that you've come into too, that we're developing and building. That's awesome. And that's why we started the Texas Internet Radio Association. And that's why I originally started my charts. My charts started from just the infancy of the Texas Internet Radio Station, my first radio station. And what ended up happening was I saw a big rip in the seam of the Texas music industry, and where there was a lot of division, a lot of fighting, a lot of clicking, and a lot of bullshit going on between the major charts that were. And I'm just like, man, this is ridiculous, man. They're not making it about the artist anymore, and the artists were getting taken advantage of constantly. And I went through that as an artist. So I saw it firsthand. And then I turned around and I decided to do something about it and step off stage and mentor newer artists that were getting into the scene to help them find a community and a direction. So
Mark, kind of like she's a cop's cop, you are an artist. You are an advocate for them, right?
Yeah, that's what I see a lot in her, is that leadership and mentorship. And that you probably trained some officers and saved their lives by what
no doubt. Only because we came on and officers saved our lives. It's the circle of life, right?
So same thing, man. You got these new guys coming into the music scene and they don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, that's just humanity.
Yeah. No,
well, you know what you told me at Whataburger?
Good for you. That's awesome.
Is you're like, just do you, Robin, because you're sitting here because what did you do? You went to shows. You made these reels, you supported artists, you put it on your Instagram, your whatever, and then they would reshare because, I'm in it for my heart. I'm not in it to make money. I'm in it because I found acts that I really liked, that I wanted to promote just as a human being going to venues and enjoying myself.
You could send me Robin's checks. I'll give you my address when we hang up.
So I'm like, Mark, what do I do? And you're like,
you're starting to sound a lot like Nashville over there, Wendy.
Just send her checks to me.
But Mark, remember straight up, and you're like
a label owner, and she didn't tell me the truth. And you're trying to get your royalties already.
I feel like I'm pimping her out now. Jesus.
No, but dude, remember, I'm feeding my face with fucking greasy Whataburger, and you're like, you got serious for a second. And you're like, just do you. Your brand is you. And I'm like, well, I can do me.
On the next Mark After Dark, pimp your cop.
Well, and I appreciate that because it's not that fancy. What you see is what you get with Wendy, with me. Like, I don't have to really impress anybody other than God upstairs. And I have a good group of friends. I have, solid people in my life that have my back. And so, I'm just going to roll with learning the industry and taking care of good people, because good people take care of good people.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the funniest part, Wendy, is the venue that I got Robin going to.
Okay.
This was my test to see how cool of a cop she really was.
Oh, stop. Are you serious?
Oh, hell yeah. I told you from day one, I told you I do not play fucking checkers. I play chess.
That's fair. Good for you.
And let me tell this, Mark.
Because there's stuff that goes on in the music scene that, man, nobody needs nobody going in there and causing no drama. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
Well, you told me
Already.
at the end of the night, you told me, sir, you said, I'm always going to be honest with you. And I'm like, oh man, you getting ready to hurt my feelings, huh? He's like, no, I want to tell you, I already had a cap of 30 minutes. If I showed up to that concert, even though it's Junior Brown, if I didn't want to roll with you or I didn't like you or we weren't a good fit, I was going to leave in 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay, well, that's good to know. I didn't have a plan B because I bought the damn tickets. I was staying. But I appreciated your honesty and the fact that you stayed and you stayed through a business meeting at midnight with me. You know, thank you for that honesty.
Was there Whataburger at the business meeting?
There
Yeah.
was.
Okay, I'm in then. I'm in.
Oh,
I'm in.
thank God you're not an in and outer like she is.
No,
Jesus.
I went to college in the South.
That was definitely a when I found out she was an in and out girl.
I'm actually more of a Crystals girl, but I'm in for Whataburger. Yeah.
What about White Castle?
Oh, it's funny that you asked that.
Oh, this
I
is good.
just was in Louisville, Kentucky this week for the first time ever. And I am a huge bourbon and whiskey just fanatic. And so for me, it was like, I got to hit all the distilleries and just, it was really cool.
You missed me in my prime when I used to work for Rebecca Creek Distillery. I could have so hooked you up.
Okay. So it's funny. We saw some Rebecca Creek out there. Yeah. But, so it was an amazing experience, but I found out even better than the bourbon and the whiskey. Dude, they had a White Castle. And it was walking distance from the hotel.
Oh, you were in trouble.
Absolutely. I've never had White Crystal up until this week. So it was
White
amazing.
Crystal?
I'm sorry.
White Crystal?
Yeah, I'm reverting to Crystal.
Way beyond the
Exactly.
off-duty. Yeah.
No, I'm reverting back to Crystal. I love it. But no, it was a good time. It was a good time. So
You know what? That's the perfect moment right here with that little the White Crystal comment there.
Can we end on that positive note? Because Wendy's getting sticky.
But look, y'all, boom. It doesn't get any better than this, y'all.
I love it.
Wendy's White Crystals on the next Martin After Dark.
White Crystal's a whole different thing, man. We could talk about that on another day.
You know what?
Go.
You know what? Before y'all leave, I want you to talk about the funniest arrest, other than the shit your pants one, Robin. Each of you, real quick, before we get out of here. The funniest.
Maybe in a second, because I got lots of arrests. But I want to talk about this hat right here.
I'll tell you a funny one.
Okay, just real quick. I went and saw my childhood best friend since the 5th grade. I went and saw her dad, who's 80. I haven't seen him in probably 10 years. And he's a retired Navy guy. His name's Jim.
Oh, yeah.
He's amazing.
I wasn't sure where you were going with this at
No.
first. I was like,
So I'm chatting with him at his house today. I love the man with all my heart. He's known me since I was 11 years old. And then he gives me a ball cap. And obviously it's very well worn. But this, you can't give me $1 million. I will not give you this hat. It's priceless to me. And so I show up. Wait, hold on. Oh, look at little ponies. I'm all proud. I'm like, hey, look at this. It's old AF. I don't care. This is Jim's hat.
and I'm looking at her like,
She's like, what are you doing?
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
serious,
I'm
bro?
like, look at my hat. Don't I look cute? Go ahead.
Robin, you know you can't go into San Diego with that hat. She goes, why? I go, St. Louis, SL, Skyline Piru. It's our biggest, most active blood gang set in the city of San Diego. Girl, you about to get us into a drive-by.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, I'm wearing it now.
Absolutely not. You're on your own.
Did she?
So my 80-year-old
No.
best friend's father gave me a Skyline Piru gangsta cap.
Guy trying to get her murdered. Nice guy. Good job, Jim. Good job. No wonder he's doing it away.
Okay. That was a funny, I mean, kind of crazy, but funny.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she was fixing to get y'all shot the fuck up.
Okay. We're literally about to get murdered. Thanks, Robin.
Yeah. And didn't they train you not to do shit like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I've been gone since 2012. This is my look now.
There you go. All right, Wendy, your funniest
Giddy up,
arrests, incidents as a cop?
Oh my God. So there's a million that I can think of, but I know we're getting short on time, so I'll wrap it up here.
We'll go.
I've worked very busy areas and my whole career, a lot of drugs, a lot of gang, we talked about a lot of crime. So I don't know, a year or so ago, we're dealing with this chick and street person, female, and like Mary, whatever. What happened to your pants, man? What happened to your pants? I had to sell them for crack.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's understandable. Okay, well, what you couldn't even at least, keep your underwear? Like, what happened to your panties, girl? I needed a pipe to smoke that crack in. So she sold her pants for crack and her panties for the pipe. I go, well, what are you gonna do with the crack without a pipe? I wasn't mad at her. I go, that makes sense. So we drove her down, got her some new pants, got it. But she goes, I already told you I sold it for crack and I needed a pipe too, girl. Oh.
I wish you had the body cam footage from that day that we could play right now.
Right, we're all just like, but then it made sense. I was like,
see, Wendy listened for the answer, and Wendy made a good judgment call, and you supported Mary in her quest.
We let her go.
That's good police work right there, sir.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because guess what? Mary's going to be on the street selling more than fucking panties and shit for crack in 20 minutes anyway. And if you arrest her, it's not going to change it.
Absolutely. So we just said, good luck. We got her some pants. We sent her on her way.
Yeah, you arrest her, and then now you're taking care of her.
Correct. Exactly. Well, I mean, yeah, you can't let her walk down the street. Trust me, you wouldn't want to see this, Mark. So.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? So those radio calls, new police officers learn this real quick, of a naked person going down the street and they want to go to the call ASAP to see. It's not what you want to see. It's never the naked person.
Y'all probably like pick short straws or flip coins or something to see who has to take that damn call.
I'll tell you, if you want to see a 300-pound man,
rookie duty.
If you want to see a 300-pound man sitting on a woman's wig from the 70s, you go ahead and go to that call.
No.
You go ahead and go. I don't.
Hey, Mark, I want to end on this. I will personally pay to fly you to San Diego, put you up for 2 nights as a ride along with Wendy. I challenge you one day.
I love that, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to California.
No.
Oh, he won't go to California.
Why? Because we have In-N-Out?
No, he don't like California.
I don't want to be In-N-Out. And
that's fair.
Well, if I was going to California, it would only be In-N-Out.
No,
I've only gone, and it's just the current state of everything is the only reason why. And I won't go to New York. I won't go to Chicago.
I agree, and I live here. I agree with you.
Would you, if you were here? Let's
So
just say
God
you were
bless
here.
you for your service in that hellhole.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it is a hell. I can't wait to get out of California. It's terrible.
But I'm gonna tell you, it is such a beautiful state that is a pity of what has happened.
Well, it's politics, and our legislators and our politicians have run it into the ground, and it's just a plethora of things. But it's a mess. California's lost.
I know, because everybody's fleeing here to Texas.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They really are. I mean, like, you do not know, especially in the area that we live in.
Sure.
Well, you have no idea.
No, I do. Yeah, they're coming and shitting up your state. They're shitting up Idaho. They're shitting up a lot of states, unfortunately. I know. Sorry.
And no, it's not y'all's fault, man. Y'all didn't do it. Our own government did it.
No, I agree. But a lot of the
same doing is enforcing the law because
I know.
You have a job to do. You're not the one making the law. You're not the one that's writing the law and saying you have to do this, you have to do that. Oh my God. You're not doing that. All you're doing is, this is the law. We are enforcing it. That's it. We are trying to protect people. You guys do serve. Firefighters, EMS, all of y'all see some really horrendous shit. So thank you for all you do.
Well, I don't know a lot of jobs where you go to work and all you're doing is driving around, and you got to keep your head on a swivel, because just what you're wearing to work could put your life in danger. You could be going into a restaurant and the person in there just committed a murder and they think you're there for them and you're there to get your meal. we've seen, obviously coworkers of ours have died and been murdered. We know, we're not going to say right now, it'll totally cast an awful, I want to end on a happy note, but the bond that we've had in our profession, because, interpersonally, we've seen things happen. Professionally, we've seen things happen. Other jobs, doctors, people that I work with at the hospital, they go through some pretty traumatic life and death scenarios that make relationships outside of work. Like me, I've been gone for 12 years and I would still die for this woman sitting next to me, and we don't work together anymore. So I'm so grateful for my experiences in my career that have given me these lifetime friendships. I would do anything. I would die for this girl, and I know she'd do the same for me. So thank you for your time, Mark, for allowing me to do this. And
I would get maimed, seriously maimed.
Not die.
But I'd probably give a couple fingers for you, but not. I would hope.
You're an asshole.
I know that hurts.
Fingers an asshole, all in like 5 seconds.
I know that
right here on Mark.
Robin is nicer than Wendy. Robin is nicer than Wendy.
Good cop, bad cop.
Good cop, bad cop.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, right.
Hope we're never in the situation.
Okay, Mark, I want to end with this. If I challenge you, if you ever accidentally happen to end up in San Diego.
Oh, I would be down in 5 seconds. Or if you come to Texas, what if I find one of my officer friends and we both go on a ride along with them? And do a lot.
That's a better idea.
See if we can get approval. See if we can get approval from the county to maybe even do a live podcast.
That's a great idea. I like
or
that.
Film part of it with them looking at it and editing out what we can't do. And giving them the full right to do that. I might have some connections to make that happen.
This is why you're the professional. Please get
Well,
your hand
no, I have the connections because I had to meet them the wrong way first, and then they now realize I'm not on that path anymore.
Right.
We're good now,
Yeah, well, good for you. No, that's why you're a leader in your profession. That's why you're the man. So,
she's gonna go now. It's been an hour.
Yep, I'm out of here, man. I'm ready to go to bed. I have birds to feed in the morning and a vet clinic to go endure.
Thank you for doing this, Mark. I appreciate it.
And
it was
you.
Yeah. It was so nice to meet you. We really appreciate people like you doing what you're doing out there. So good luck to you.
We might have you back on. Don't be a stranger now.
I would love to anytime.
Yeah, we'll plan it a little bit more. We'll let you build up some really good, juicy content.
Okay, I like that. We'll juice it up every time a little bit. So
yes,
maybe you could have a video. You could show a video.
Amen.
Everybody likes a video.
But really, thank you. You've been great. So we
thank you, ladies. And hey, we're going to get out of here. But tonight, that is it. Thank y'all so much for watching this episode of Mark After Dark. Catch you next time. Bye.